This is the inside of the Adria Dart. If we firstly come to the master switch, we can turn the 12 volt on. Once we've done this, as long as we have the aqua roll filled up and then the submersible pump dropped into it and the boiler bung closed, we can turn the water pump on. We need the water pump on to be able to get water out of the taps and fill the boiler up if it's been drained. Beside this, we then have the Trima control panel for your heating and your hot water. You'll see at the moment it's letting us know that we're hitched up to the main supply with the little picture of the 2-pin plug just here. If I now press the button, it will bring up a series of icons, and as I begin to rotate, you'll see they will flash. So if we start with the first icon just there, this one is for your heating. So if we now click on it, heating is off, and now all we do is just rotate and pick what temperature we would like it to be inside the caravan, and it will go right the way up to 30 degrees. Once you've decided, click to store it in, and you'll now see a little flame has appeared above. That little flame there just represents the heating system, and it's just letting you know you've set a parameter. Whenever the heating is actually in operation, that flame will begin to flash, and it will continue to flash until it achieves the temperature you have asked it. If we now click again, and we now move to the next icon, this one here is for your hot water. And again, if I now click, hot water is off. And again, if I now rotate, we can heat hot water in eco mode, which will give us a water temperature of about 40 degrees. If I rotate again, we can heat in hot, which is about 60. And if I rotate again, we can also perform a boost on the boiler. The boost was mainly designed for if there's going to be more than one of you having showers in quick succession of each other. If you do perform the boost and the heating's running, the heating will turn off as it needs to use that extra power. Again, as you can see, the icon will continue to flash until it achieves the temperature to let you know that it's, say, at 40 degrees. Next we have power source. So at the moment we are using gas to do our heating and our hot water, indicated by the little gas bottle up the top here. If I now rotate, we can use dual fuel, so we can use a mixture of gas and mains electricity at 1 kilowatt and a mixture of gas and mains at 2 kilowatt. Very handy these two settings if you're using the caravan in the winter months and you want to get up to temperature nice and quickly. It will only use the gas as it's required. After those settings, we then have mains electricity at 1 kilowatt and mains electricity at 2 kilowatts. So just depending on the amperage of the site you're on to stop yourself from tripping out. Next we have a circulation fan for the heating system. So at the moment it's in eco mode, so it'll just gently trickle the warm air out of all the air ducts around the caravan. What we can do is turn it up to high. If we now drop to the lower icons, this first one here is for a basic timer. So just click on it. Literally you have a start time, and then when you would like everything to stop, and then you just literally tell it what you would like on within that period. And then once you've picked everything, it will lastly ask you whether or not you want the timer on or off. If I now activate the timer icon will come up there, and now within that time period, those settings would apply. If I now return to it, I can turn it back off again, and when we go back in, we can then alter it again. Obviously, if you're going to be using timers, it helps if the clock's correct, and that's all this one here is. And then lastly, we have the settings menu. So within this, we have offset, which is just for the thermostat, which is just here. If you don't think it's quite correct, you can just slightly adjust it. Next, we have temperature, so it can be displayed either in Celsius or Fahrenheit. Brightness of this screen, 12 or 24 hour clock, language, index, which is more for the workshop, it just lets them know what software it's running, and then lastly, full factory reset. From time to time, these control panels will throw up error codes. They're usually basic stuff, so it might be telling you that you don't have main supply connected or you've run out of gas, etc. It will appear as a warning triangle where my finger is here and a series of letters and numbers, and then if you Google it, it will tell you what the problem actually is. Once you've rectified the problem, 9 times out of 10 the error code will just automatically disappear. If that doesn't happen, it's usually best, if you've still got stuff running along the top there, just to turn them off so it can reassess faster. If you've done that and you've still got the error code, I always say then do the good old-fashioned turn the control panel off and turn it back on again. And the way we do that is just by holding this button down until it says off and then turning it back on. If you still have no luck with that, I then always say do the factory reset. You can't hurt it in any shape or form. Sometimes these control panels just need to be reset and then they'll function again absolutely fine. Beside this control panel, we then have main lights. So as you can see, this will turn all the lights off in one go within the caravan, and then they can all be individually turned on and off on their own switches. And then lastly, we have the voltage of the leisure battery just here. If we now go underneath the bench seat just here, so I'll just remove the cushions, and we now lift up. You'll see that we have the Truma boiler just here. We have the boiler drain valve just here. These particular drain valves are automatic, so if there's water in the boiler and the temperature drops below about 3-4 degrees, this valve will automatically open and drop all the water out of the boiler to avoid frost damage. To drain it down manually for winterization or for travel, all we need to do is make sure the water pump is turned off, come to this blue diamond, twist it, and a blue button will pop out where my finger is down here. And then to refill it, twist, push it back in, and as you can hear, I've left the water pump on, so the water pump will then commence filling it back up again. When draining down completely for winter, you will also find this lever here. If you lift that up as well, that will also aid in draining the system down. Also in here, as we've had a power touch motor mover fitted on this particular caravan, you will find the power touch control board just there. We then also have the battery charger and the 12-volt fuses just here. They are all labelled, so if there's anything not working on 12 volt, you can just check to see whether or not anything's blown. You've got the pump pressure switch just at the back there, so if you are experiencing a lot of pump shudder, you can slightly adjust this. I do not suggest giving it lots of turns because you will completely throw it out. It only needs micro adjustments, if anything. If we now close all this back up again, and we now come up here, we then have the Adria media center. So to turn the media center on, just go underneath it just here, and we have an on-off switch just here. Once you turn it on, you then just need to literally get either your phone or tablet and turn your Bluetooth on, and then go into your Bluetooth settings and look for Adria, connect up to it, and then you'll be able to play any downloaded media through it, or stream radio stations, etc. Next we have the 3 gas burners. It is just push in, twist and push the igniter. Beneath that we have the oven and the grill. Push in to the left for the oven, and then to the right for the grill. Beneath that we have storage, but you'll also find some gas isolation taps for the cooker, the hob, and the heating and hot water. Microwave just here. Fairly standard microwave. Will only work when you're hooked up to main supply. We have quick start, stop just here, and then we have power settings, etc. Defrost. Fairly as normal. Sink, draining board, chopping board, etc. all just there. Cutlery drawer beneath, and then we have storage right the way down. Next we have the Thetford fridge freezer. On and off just here. So off, on. This is an automatic model, so as long as you are on A for auto, it will find the best power source it can for you. So because we're currently hooked to main supply, you'll see it's put us onto mains with the little picture of the 2-pin plug. If I now ran outside and pulled the mains lead out, it would then automatically attempt to fire itself up onto gas. And as soon as we hitch up to a tow vehicle and start the engine, it will then automatically go over to 12 volt maintain to keep the fridge cold whilst on the move. As you can see, all this goes back out again after a few seconds. To bring it back up again, just tap. We can take it out of auto, so if I now hold this down, you'll see it begins to flash, and then I can arrow, so I can manually put it onto mains, manually put it onto 12 volt maintain, or manually put it onto gas. But to be fair, auto is the easiest one to have it on. Once you select what you want, it will then move over to the temperature control. Select again, and there we go. Nice large fridge with a very good size freezer compartment as well. Storage beneath it, and you'll also find the gas isolation tap for it as well. Next we have the shower cubicle. Do make sure that the shower screen is fully secure for travel. Then we have the toilet. So we have the cassette here. The bowl does swivel about. Open to the cassette just here. Push to flush just here, and then Close again. If this has been left open and you try to remove the cassette, it will not come out. Level indicator just here to let you know when the cassette needs emptying. We then have the basin just here. We then have the island bed, lots of storage beneath it. If we then come across to the wardrobe just this side, you'll find in here that we have the television aerial. So to raise the mast up, just loosen off here and up here, and we can then push the mast up. This particular model has a signal finder on the booster box just here, so as long as you've got a nice green light, you know you've got a strong signal. Once you've got it in the green, just tighten everything back up again. This little tail here allows you to switch the aerial from horizontal to vertical if you need to do additional tuning. Do make sure that the aerial is down again for travel. Just at the bottom here, in this box here, is the main strip switches. So if anything's not working on main supply, just like your house, just check to see whether or not you've tripped. The front bed is nice and easy to make. It is just a matter of pulling both of these out so they then just meet in the middle, and then it's just a matter of, I personally flip these over, but it's entirely up to personal comfort.